Hey guys, so we just got a new Wowhead post revealing Datamined Mage spell changes. So I'll be going through this with you guys and taking a look at any new or changed abilities and giving my thoughts and first impressions. Let's get right into it. Okay, so it appears Radiant Spark and Shifting Power are both making a return. Really happy to see that. Radiant Spark was one of my favorite Covenant abilities. Sadly, it doesn't sound like we're keeping Mirrors of Torment. I would have liked to see that return, but just tweaked slightly such that it procced consistently instead of based on enemy attacks. Anyways, let's continue on down. So we have some other talents here. Your barrier's cooldown recharges 20% faster while the shield persists. Okay, that sounds pretty good. Arcane Explosion, Ranan. Causes an explosion of arcane magic around the caster, causing 0 arcane damage to all targets within 6 yards. To me, this just sounds like regular Arcane Explosion, but I'm not too sure what Ranan means. I guess we'll need some more context when the official talent trees release. Arcane Warding reduces magic damage taken by 3%. Ring of Fire. Summons a ring of fire for 8 seconds at the target location. Enemies entering the ring burn for 24% of their total health over 6 seconds. Now, I'm pretty sure this is already a PvP talent for fire, though now if this is in the general class talents, I wonder how this percent health will actually work in practice. I doubt you just plop this on the floor and do massive percent health damage, but if so, that sounds busted, and I'll take it. Okay, Cryofreeze while inside, Ice Block, okay, Diverted Energy Flow of Time. These are all conduits we already have. Mass Polymorph. Transforms all enemies within 10 yards into sheep, wandering around incapacitated for 1 minute. While affected, the victims cannot take actions but will regenerate health very quickly. Damage will cancel the effect. This is pretty cool, but it seems very niche. Like, maybe we see use on a raid encounter here and there, something kind of like Soul Render, where but like in Soul Render, at least 2 ads would need to spawn within 10 yards of each other, and this is also a 1 minute cooldown, so I don't even think in that scenario it's a great use of it. This is definitely something I think we'll see used in PvP, but if you guys can think of any big brain use in PvE, let me know down in the comments. Next up, we got Reabsorption and Reduplication. You are healed for 5% of your maximum health whenever a mirror image dissipates due to direct damage. Reduplication, a mirror image's cooldown is reduced by 10 seconds whenever a mirror image dissipates due to direct damage. Okay, so these two seem like great talents for solo content. Something like Torghast would be a really good use for it. But, like, okay, I could also see us taking this in Mythic Plus, since we use mirror images a ton in Mythic Plus. Though, depending on how the talent tree works out, let's say we had to pick one of these two, I'd probably choose Reduplication. Okay, so Tempest Barrier, we already know what that does. Temporal Velocity. Increases your movement speed by 30% for 5 seconds after returning from Altered Time. Alright, so this could be pretty strong when paired with Master of Time. Altered Time would be a 30-second cooldown, plus we then get 30% movement speed for 5 seconds whenever we use it. Not too bad, but I'm still not sure if I'd want to part with Slipstream, to be honest. Time Anomaly. And at any moment, you have a chance to gain Arcane Surge for 6 seconds, Clear Casting / Combustion for 5 seconds, 1 Fire Blast Charge, Icy Veins, Fingers of Frost, Time Warp. So, did we lose Arcane Power? Because I don't see it mentioned here. Interesting. Tome of Antonitis. Increases Mastery by 50, Winter's Protection, the cooldown of Ice Block is reduced. Okay, so here's Arcane Surge. Expend all of your current mana to annihilate your enemy target and nearby enemies for arcane damage based on mana spent. Deals reduced damage beyond 5 targets, and for the next 12 seconds, your mana regeneration is increased by 450%, and spell damage increased by 10%. That sounds pretty cool. So, I think what they're trying to do here is, as far as I know, I don't see Arcane Harmony anywhere. So far. So Arcane Harmony, if we don't have Arcane Harmony, then Arcane Barrage is not going to be that big single target nuke. Well, it can also AoE nuke that we have now, right? We would generally cast it on the 4th stack of Radiant Spark. If we don't have Arcane Harmony, it's not going to be that strong. It seems like what they're trying to do is make Arcane Surge that new ability. Though, if Arcane Surge is going to be replacing Arcane Power, which is what I'm sensing, since time anomaly used to give us arcane power. That will be interesting. We'll see how it works out. I think we just need more context from the talent trees, to be honest. Arcane Tempo. Consuming arcane charges increases your haste by 2% for 12 seconds, stacks up to 5 times. Okay, so I think the way we use this ability, and it's going to highly depend on what sims say, but I think the way we do use this is that we do not take as much haste as usual from our gear. So let's say we only end up with 5% haste from our gear. What that, that would usually instead go to like crit, verse, mastery. We end up with 5% haste on our gear. This passive would then give us 10% haste after being fully stacked, and we would end up with 15% haste when we maintain this buff. So I'm just assuming that's how we would probably use it. So we gain some like free stats and use the other stats elsewhere. Interesting. Illuminated Thoughts. Clearcasting has a 5% increased chance to proc. Hold on. So does that mean Arcane Surge would give us 3 free clearcastings guaranteed? Because it expends all of our mana, right? So let's say it's worth to use this ability at 90% mana. Clearcasting proc generation is based on how much mana you spend. So if we're using this at 90% mana and expending all of that mana, we're pretty much guaranteed 3 stacks of clearcasting. And that's before you even like add in a 5% increased chance to proc. When you add this in, it's kind of like 100% chance that you're going to get 3 stacks of clearcasting. That's very interesting. I hope that is an interaction that actually can happen, and that makes Arcane Surge sound really fun. Next up, we got Impetus. Arcane Blast has a 10% chance to generate an additional arcane charge. Okay. Improved arcane missiles, increases the damage of arcane missiles by 10%, pretty good. Nether Precision, consuming clearcasting increases the damage of your next arcane blasts by 20%. Okay, this is just the conduit we never take anyway. Siphon Storm, evocation grants. Okay, so we're keeping Siphon Storm. That's really cool. I liked Siphon Storm. It was the legendary that we used for Venthyr, making a return in Dragonflight. Unfortunately though, we don't have Mirrors of Torment, so that playstyle will probably not be quite the same. But so the big question here is, how much of these talents can we take, right? Because if Arcane Surge is going to be our new single target, well, even AoE is going to be our new like big nuke ability, then can we buff it with Radiant Spark? Can we also buff it with Siphon Storm? Maybe we can only pick 2 of them, right? Either Siphon Storm, Arcane Surge, or Radiant Spark, Arcane Surge. Can we pick all 3? Really interesting questions that we just need more context from the talent trees to know. Is that it for Arcane? Okay, so we got some more stuff here. Arcane Power. Okay, so it no longer increases the duration of Arcane Power by 5 seconds. Instead, it now causes Arcane Surge to last an additional 3 seconds and grant 25% increased spell damage. But isn't this passive part of... Yeah, so it's part of the rank 3 for Arcane Power, so this is confusing. Does that mean that we still have rank 1 and 2 of Arcane Power, which is just regular Arcane Power? Or does that mean we're replacing Arcane Power entirely with Arcane Surge? Yeah, we just need to know. We just need to see the talent trees, to be honest. Touch of the Magi is now increased by 2 additional seconds, and the cast time is changed from 1.5 seconds to be instant cast. Really great job, Blizzard. I applaud you greatly for this. This is an awesome change. It's adding in quality of life to Arcane that currently our tier set does for us. Once we lose our tier set, then we're just back to, it's just clunky, right? But this kind of fixes it. We have 2 extra seconds on Touch of the Magi, and it's an instant cast ability. Really great job. Amplification. So it's now going to cast 1 additional missile when we use clearcasting, but Arcane Echo is nerfed. So not sure entirely how this ends up getting mathed out. It seems to me like it'll just be neutral, like they just cancel each other out, but we'll see how that ultimately ends up being. and Master of Time is nerfed. So earlier on I had mentioned that we could get that 5% movement speed when you return from Altar Time, and it would pair up, it would synergize well with this ability, but I mean, this ability is just pretty much gutted, right? We never took this when it gave us 30% buff. Why would we ever take it when it's giving us a 10%, I mean a 10-second cooldown reduction? So it's like, the reason we don't take it now is because it's on the same row as Slipstream and Shimmer. So this one is just like the worst one. We never take this. What I am now guessing is going to happen is that this will be pretty easy for us to pick on our talent tree, right? There's no way they're going to make us, again, especially in its completely gutted version, there's no way they're going to make us pick between this and Shimmer or this and Slipstream. It's just not, we're never going to pick this. So I'm guessing this is going to be pretty easy to pick on our tree, and will probably be semi-baseline because you'll just probably take this pretty easily without having to give up too much. So that's pretty cool to see. We'll see if that's actually how it pans out. I'm just assuming it'll be that way. And lastly, we have Overpowered now affects Arcane Surge. So yeah, once again, this is ambiguous. It sounds like we're keeping Arcane Power, and they're just adding on Arcane Surge. Can't really say until we see the talent trees, but yeah, that's pretty much it for the currently data-mined spell changes. Once we get some more, information from Blizzard, we'll see, I'll be back here giving my feedback. But yeah, unfortunately, do not have alpha access for the time being. So we'll just be reacting to changes like this. But once I get my hands on either alpha or beta, for sure I'll be in there testing out changes and letting you guys know what I find. So until then, let me know down in the comments your thoughts on these data mine changes, and I will catch you guys in the next video.